Okay, everyone, so below I have actually reviewed a lot of the common investments that expats make and some of the investments which expats typically aren't happy with. So these are the likes of RL360, Zurich, Old Mutual and our companies. Now in this video I'm going to briefly summarize what people can do if they have these kind of policies. So option one, of course, is just to keep investing until the end. Now that can make sense, but usually it doesn't. But the way it does make sense is if, let's say you've got a 20-year policy and you've been in it for 18 years and you've only got 2 years left. It probably makes sense to go to the end because you can get all your bonuses and so on. It doesn't make sense to actually walk away. But for most people in the long-term savings plans, that's not realistically an option. So if you've got, say, a 20, 25-year plan with some of these old school companies, what you can realistically do is one of three things. Either you can completely surrender the policy. That means doing something like just walking away from a pot of money, right? Now that might be uncomfortable to start with, but bear in mind you're going to have to pay those fees anyway. So for example, let's say you've got $100,000 in your account and the surrender value is $50,000. Yes, it's painful to walk away from that $50,000, but you can actually make up for that loss in certain situations. In comparison, if you leave the $100,000 in your account, bear in mind that if you're only getting 2 or 3% per year, in comparison, you take out 50,000, you get 8% per year, you can work it out for yourself over a period of 10 or 15 years, you're going to more than make up for the loss. A second option though is what's called a maximum penalty-free surrender. So given the aforementioned example, where you've got $100,000 but the surrender value is $50,000. Let's say you have $30,000 you can take out without penalty. So now you have $70,000 left in the account, but you've taken $30,000 out without any charges. That's another option, right? And then the third option is, of course, just to decrease how much you invest. So let's say you're investing $1,000 a month. You decrease it to say $300 or $400 a month just to keep the account going and so on, although you can just keep the account going with the second option, but you just want to invest a small amount. That's another option. What I would say though is it's always good to do it based on the maths, because in this situation, a lot of people get into the habit of loss aversion. They think, well, I've invested all this money, so I want to wait until I've broken even, or I want to wait until, I don't know, I've made such and such a percent. But a lot of the time that leads to good money chasing after bad money. So often, right, if you just look at it rationally, taking a loss earlier on can make sense. And even if you don't take the loss early on, you can take the second option of just withdrawing money the most you can without penalty and then just leaving the rest in and maybe lowering the fees within the account.